we have a family one February 8th.
Right.
And so, are we live?
Yes,
We are. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I don't see comments yet, so I need to know. I need to know you guys are out there. I was just talking to Kate because I was gone for New Year's. You guys all know I was gone for a while, and I was asking Kate how old she is, which I'm not going to reveal it to all of you because that's not fair. But she's young. Let me just say she's young. Hello, Doreen. Hello, Judith. Hi, Jean. Marilyn. So good to be back with all of you. Oh, we got Ohio and South Carolina. I feel like we're all in kind of snow no matter where you're from. Western New York. Oh my goodness, all of you are back and ready to go. I love it. So for New Year's, the week after Christmas, we enticed the girls to forfeit their either in-laws or future in-laws to come hang out with us with warm weather and golf and spa treatments and whatever all else we did for them. So we went to Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was amazing. Judith, I'm so sorry you don't have it yet. You will be getting it very, very soon. There are 7 of you who are missing the Bag Lady Club, and I'm so sorry. They are ready to go except for one pattern. Carolyn's recouping. Well, good health to you. I hope it's a speedy recovery. Carol waiting for the side hustle to arrive. Oh, we have those patterns in stock, so I'm not sure why it hasn't shipped out yet, but I will let shipping know, and we'll get that out as quickly as possible. So I'm not sure. Rita, I'll check on that as well. It's no big deal. I'll go back and rewatch. It takes about an hour, and then I'll look at your comments. So I appreciate you guys putting those notes in there for me. And so, hi, Carol. So anyway, I was just saying we were in Scottsdale, and Anna is engaged and getting married in September, the end of September. So we have another wedding in the family. And we are all going to meet up again in February because my nephew is getting married February 8th in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So hopefully warm weather there as well. But Anna said she has 11 weddings to go to this year. So it's really crazy. So, all right. So I'm so glad you guys are here. Someone's from Louisiana. Tina, maybe you'll be at the wedding too. Do you know the Marucci family? And so, hi. Guess what, guys? I'm so excited. This just came in. So the 7 of you who were waiting, this is what was holding it up. So we'll talk about all of this here in just a second. And thank you, Sarah. So Sarah just brought it in, so it did arrive. So we'll be able to get those shipped out today because the kits are completely put together, excluding that. In fact, the one I'm showing you today, I kind of tore apart. So let's see. If I got the first big club package, will that mean I am in a monthly club? We are not doing this as a monthly club. Thank you for asking the question, Taffy. This is sort of like a one-off. I'm going to try and do it probably like at least twice a year, maybe quarterly, just because I like to coordinate it with new patterns. So this worked out really well. ByAnnie at the beginning of the year always comes out with a couple new patterns and a couple revisions. And so I thought it would be a good time to do a ByAnnie kit because it would be new. And if anybody wanted it to be a surprise, then you could do that. And so so if it says paid, you're one of the 7 that we were waiting for this pattern to come in. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's, Jacqueline Curry, I think I owe you a phone call. I think I have a little Post-it note with your number, so I will give you a call after the show. All right. I'm just bouncing all over. So pretty normal for me, right, guys? If anyone is new here with us today, please register. On Facebook, you just type in register. On the app, once you're in there, you're already set up. So I believe we are still doing, well, we should be doing free shipping if you spend over $75. I do not know if we have a discount or an amount going back into your account any longer. I think that was through the end of the year. So I can't promise anything there because I have absolutely no control. Oh, Steve just came in and he's holding up 4 fingers. So is that 40% or 4 times?
4%.
He said 4%. I was trying. I thought, well, I had him in the room, I'd see what I could do. So you will get 4% back. Oh, Jean, I'm glad to hear it's ironed. I didn't iron mine, so I'm not even that ready. So I think that's it for business. You'll get 4% back if you purchase anything today. You have 24 hours to shop and close out. So I think that's it. Let's get started. So those of you who did get the entire kit for Bag Lady Club, most of you should have it, but like I said, there are 7 that are currently outstanding. They will go out today. So the main thing we were doing was the ByAnnie, the side hustle pattern is in your kit. So you will have one baggie and it'll have the pattern. It will have all of your supplies to do the side hustle. So we actually had the fabric to do exactly the bag, oops, on the picture. Oh, thank you, Kate. So we're going to do that exact same bag. So we have both this fabric and this. This is called Cityscape. And so you'll get 3/4 of a yard of both fabrics so that you can flip it any way you want. You can do the large bag, you can do the smaller bag, and you can line it or do the exterior, whichever one you want. And you'll have a little bit extra of one of the fabrics, whatever you decide to use as your exterior, and that's going to be a bonus project that we have. So in here you will have all your hardware. So we've got this really fun slider, really nice one. We've got the triangle rings and we've got our hooks. You get 3 zippers that coordinate with this fabric. You get the strapping, which we're going to cover. So I kind of tried to pick a color that would sort of go with, but it really doesn't matter. We're going to cover it with fabric. And then you have the strapping to put your earrings on. So like I said, everything you need to make this pattern, including the soft and stable. So we also have a nice big soft and stable. We are no longer selling the Bag Lady kit, just so you know. So if you are already on and got it and it says paid, that's great. If you're waitlist, if I have any extra once these go out today, I tried to make a couple extra. I'll pull you off the wait list today. So it will happen today. But if you want to play along with us, you can get the kit. Now the kit is going to be, I don't want this to be confusing. I tried to sort of, you can get the pattern separate. So the pattern is $9.95, I believe, just whatever the retail amount is. Again, you get 4% back though, so there is a bit of a discount. Claudia, I don't know about that. If Tommy pops in here, I'll ask him. Oh yeah, Judith, we did get there were some treats in there. You then can get the fabric kit, and the fabric kit is going to include your, let's see, let me move this out of the way. So it'll include your fabrics. So like I said, 3/4 of a yard of each of these so that you can use either one. The zippers, so you'll get 3 coordinated zippers. You will get 1.5 yards of 1-inch strapping, and you'll get about 6 inches of the 1.5-inch nylon. So that is this kit. We have 3 choices for you. So this is the one that is exactly like what we're doing. So if you want to do the exact same one, this is it. So, and this one is called Cityscape. So if you're not sure what that one is, because you'll see 3 choices, this one is called Cityscape. And so now we are going to sell the hardware separate. So if you are like, I love the bag, but it does require some kind of different hardware. We don't always have sliders like this and the triangle rings. And so I'm trying to, there we go. So we do have the hardware kit for you. I have the nickel in stock right now, and I have extra, so those can go out right away. If, oh, someone liked the sewing treats, good. If you want gold, we put it in there as an option. I think I have enough supplies for just a handful of those. So if you go on waitlist, go ahead and pre-authorize it and I will bring in more supplies. I just don't have a lot of the gold. So I just wanted to, but I did want to give it as an option if you wanted to do that. So, all right. And then of course, if you don't have a supply of soft and stable or Bosal or some other foam interfacing that you want to use, we have that available for you too. It does take a smaller amount. It's a relatively small bag. So I just had Kate put in the 18 by 58, which is what was inside of your kits. So, all right. Whew. I'm going to take a little breath. How to make the charm bag. Gina, I'm not sure what charm bag you're talking about. If you're talking about the charm duffel, we did a class on that probably like late October, November. And so you can go back and look at that. We always have those available. And so the January month, I'm assuming you're talking about embroidery, and I don't know, but I can certainly see if we can find out. Tommy might be popping in. Oh, okay. Kate's just going to text him, so that's perfect. So, Luann, you'd like to see the other colors? They're really cute. All right, I'm going to pull them out. Now, these ones, I don't have like all the hardware and zippers pulled for these so we got back Saturday at midnight. And so yesterday or Sunday, I did laundry all day. And then yesterday, my son came down with a stomach bug. So the Marucci house has been a little crazy. And so I had hoped to come in and get these things all ready for you Monday. And I popped in for like 20 minutes and I was like, oh, forget it. I got to go home. So I apologize that I'm not a little more organized on these extra kits. But here is, I love the colors on this. This one is called Golden Vibes. And it has just a little bit of gold, like metallic, but just a tiny bit around a few of these different, what are those? They're not rectangles. My kids would shoot me right now because I can't think of the shape. Are those a parallelogram? I'm not sure, guys. My one son is in geometry. He's homesick with this stomach bug. So maybe he'll text me and be like, Mom, seriously, you know it's a blah, blah. All right, so it comes with this one. I did this for the lining, although you could use it either side. I think this would be gorgeous for an exterior as well. And so it's kind of a cream background with a little bit of the gold shimmer to it. And so, oh, good, Gina. I'm glad that's what it was that you were looking for. So we do have those videos for you. All right, so that is number one. And again, that's called Golden Vibes. And you will get gold hardware to go with that one. And then again, coordinated zippers that go with everything. Probably something in the cream tone, so you could go either direction as far as front and back. And then this one was what I was originally going to do. And then once I saw that once the fabric came in, that was exactly like the pattern, I thought we'll go with that. So this is, I think it's called Beekeeper. There's no bees, but we have these little butterflies, and it's sort of, it's very muted, the colors, and then these pretty they're almost like little lilacs, I guess. Just really sweet, pretty, and this is a nice color because it's a little bit on the muted side. Zippers for this one are going to be kind of a gray color because I think that'll go nicely with both. You will also get the silver hardware with this one. Here, I'll throw a little piece on top so you can kind of see the nickel. And so parallelogram. So Patricia agrees with you, Kate. So Kate's much closer to the time when she was in school than I am. So, Karen, thank you. I missed you guys too. So glad to be back. All right, so those are the other two kits. So we have 3 different choices. So if you like one of those, great. If not, that's part of why I did the hardware separate, because I thought if you're, like, I had thought about doing like a gender neutral, so to speak, I think like a navy or black, like just solid fabric or something similar would be really nice for anybody to use. I've seen a lot of gentlemen out there wearing them. I've seen them posted in different Instagrams for like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all these different, high-end brands, which I have a question for you guys. Maybe you know. We were in Scottsdale, and there's this very high-end shopping center called Fashion Place or something. And we went in there. I just took the boys in so they could do a little bit of shopping. Plus, it's just fun because we don't have those stores here to see, like, how much is a Balenciaga bag? Well, it's a lot, let me tell you. But we couldn't even get into Louis Vuitton. There was a line wrapped around the store. I mean, I say around as if it was massive, massive line, but there were probably 25 to 30 people in line at any given time. And I had to go back and return a pair of pants I bought. So I went twice and saw this line because I thought, well, I'm here early. I got there when they opened. I thought, well, I'm going to go see what all the hype is and ask the salespeople what it is, because I thought maybe it's an idea we can steal for Bag Lady Club. And I couldn't get in. I wouldn't wait in the line. I'm not like that. So, but if anyone knows why everyone was in line at the Louis Vuitton store, I would love to hear it. My son just said it's because they only allow like 3 people in the store at a time. because they have to have a salesperson with them at every given moment to help guide them through the shopping process, which I'm like, okay, that could take some time. But all right, nobody's responding, so nobody knows apparently. That's fine. I don't know either. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way. So those, again, are our optional kits. And I'm going to put this in here because I don't want to lose anything for this kit because this will be someone's. So, but I want to show you what else came in Bag Lady. So you got all the stuff for the side hustle bag. And then you got, let's see. Well, we got a bonus pattern. So this is Peacekeeper. I obviously need to make one because I want to show you. I am still carrying my supplies from home into here in a plastic Ziploc bag, which I actually put a hole in 1 week with the iron in here. So it's pretty pathetic. You'd think I could have at least given myself a better bag. But all right, so here is Judith. I don't think it builds character. Like, I don't like to wait, especially if I'm going to go in. I mean, I wasn't going to buy one, but maybe if I were going to go in and spend, you know, that much money on a bag, I don't want to wait. And so the narrow foot for the chorus to make bags. Gloria, I have no idea what that is, but I will ask Steve after the show and see what's going on. So, but one of the bonuses, because you will have extra supplies of your soft and stable, and you'll have a little extra of one of the fabrics, whichever one you do as a lining. And I thought, well, it is the ByAnnie Club. So, and there are these project bags called Peacekeeper. So you are getting some bonus patterns in here as well. But this fabric came with this collection. And so I thought we have to do a Peacekeeper in this. It is so cool. So this goes along with the Cityscape fabric. So again, this is just a Bag Lady exclusive. So if you did the Bag Lady Club, you got this. Now, how fun is that for this bag? I was going to see at the back. So it fully coordinates with this, and it's just a fun fabric. You'll get the netting that you need, you'll get the zipper that you need, and then again, you'll be able to use the soft and stable and the extra lining fabric to be able to make that. And so just a really fun, I thought a nice bonus to put in there for you guys. And so, yeah, Sharon, I agree. it's up there. I did notice, I saw some like aftermarket store and I was like, and they had a little bit more reasonable prices, but still pretty crazy. So, okay, just tuck that in here like that. So that was part of Bag Lady. This is part of Bag Lady too. So you got all kinds of fun things. Hi, Peggy. So you get, there was some candy in there. So it could be different because I did run out of, I had some chocolates that I bought at Costco. So if you got the little brown chocolates, I was kind of addicted to them. So, you know, probably a dozen of you didn't get it because I did. So, and some puffy ones. So there's some choices, but they're still Dove. I love Dove chocolate. So you did get that. You also got, I'm going to grab the correct pattern or the better version of it because Sarah brought it in for us. Again, because we're doing a ByAnnie Club. You got this is the brand new pattern from her. So this is new this year. It's called Two Big Totes. And they are big. So if you like a big tote, like for the beach or something like this, this is fantastic. And this one, so the extra large is 16 inches high, 22.5 inches wide, and 8.5 inches deep. So I'm not kidding when I say it's massive. The just large is 13.5 high, 16.5 wide, and 6.5 deep. So really big, but of course they're ByAnnie bags. So they are really, really well written. They're really well done. We're probably doing the harder of the two. I think Side Hustle is going to be a little bit trickier for us, but I know we can all do it. Patty, I'll look into your kit. Like I said, we were waiting for the Two Big Totes pattern to come in. The distributor we generally use had said they were going to have it at one point. The date got bumped. The date got bumped again. And so let's see, someone's working on a messenger bag. You're throwing me, Jennifer. Let's see. I'll have to look into it and I'll get back to you, okay? All right, so that's what we were waiting for is this. So again, those will go out today. You also got one of two. I had ordered some originally, so a lot of you got a little bit bigger spool, but similar size. This one comes with two, and it's the ByAnnie version of the double-sided basting tape. This is our best friend. We're definitely going to want to use this. Putting in zippers, having basting tape is like having a third hand. And so you don't have to say, sorry, Jennifer, this is how you let me know things, because otherwise it's hard to get through here, but I always check this. So, all right. The other thing we got, I had gone to that big lecture, and one of the things she said was an absolute necessity. Well, a couple of things that are in here. One was a an air erasable marker. And so I had never used them before. In fact, I still haven't used this. I have one we're going to use today. I'm very excited about it. What's nice is we're going to be able to mark up our fabric and it'll just go away. So let's see, Judith, could you line those with vinyl? If so, what gauge vinyl? Okay, so if you wanted to do these in vinyl, I think you could. I don't see why not. The only thing is, ByAnnie patterns generally have you quilt your fabric. Now this is a smaller bag, so I think you could just stitch around your pieces. So you would end up cutting your pieces and stitching. If you wanted the exterior quilted, you could quilt just that. So just your exterior fabric with your soft and stable, and then add the vinyl after when you cut your pieces. I would probably, I don't know gauges very well, Judy, I'm sorry, but I would probably use something with a little heft, but not too thick. So maybe like an 8, 10, somewhere in there. It just depends on how much stiffness you want. If you don't want it that thick, maybe go down to like a 6. So I hope that helps. I haven't tried it, so if you do it, bring it in. I would love to see it. So Anna, the Bag Lady Club is closed just because of the different products I brought in for it. We do have the items available individually, and the next time we do it, hopefully you'll be able to jump in on it. In Hawaii in August, there's always a line at the Hilton Hotel site. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to go in. I figure it doesn't hurt. We went into Gucci. My son tried on a pair of $800 blue suede shoes. And so he loved them. He's like, Mom, can I have them? I said, of course you can, honey. And then he like freaked out because he thought I was really going to buy them and was like, no, I would ruin them. So I can appreciate that he was mature enough to realize that probably wasn't a good purchase for him. Oh, the large totes, Judy. Yeah, you could definitely do that. That's a great idea. Yeah. There's the oilcloth you could use. You could use a regular vinyl in there. That's a good idea, especially with it being so big and if using it for the beach or something like that, or the pool. Sherry, you're missing it. Okay, well, it should be in the package with the other pattern. So it should be in with all the bonus items. So I'll look back at that and see what's going on. And if we need to send another one out to you, we will. I was gone for, well, a good portion of this. And so it may have been missing. I thought I got them all in, but I may have missed one. So, all right. So in here, you're getting the 2 big totes. You are going to get printouts of 2 more patterns. You get the Call Me, which is a fun little pattern. Oops. I think I went too low. Let me move it up here by our candy. There we go. So you get the Call Me, and these are the printed out ones. They are free on her website. So any of you who didn't do the ByAnnie and you want to try one of these, feel free to download those. I was just trying to make it easier for those of you who did the kit. And then here's the Petite Fours. Anyone ordering one of the fabric kits today for Side Hustle, I will include in your fabric kits a printout of these free patterns. So you will get Petite Four, you'll get Call Me, you'll get Peacekeeper, and this one just came in. It didn't make it in time for the kits that had already gone out, but the Easy Does It pattern. So you'll get all 4 of those in with your fabric kits. So, so if you get the Side Hustle kit, you will get a little bonus. So I know it's not the same as getting the whole Bag Lady Club, but you'll get something for that. All right, and then last item. This was another one of those can't live without it items from the bag lecture I went to. And this is a Hold It Precision Stiletto. So this is heat resistant. So if you're trying to press something, you're like, whenever you're trying to do that, you can actually get close up to this tip, and if it gets touched, it's not going to melt instantly. And so, Sharon, that's what I was trying to think of, was the diaper fabric. Thank you for putting that in there. And so the PUL, I think is what it's called. But so anyway, that is everything that is in Bag Lady Club. I'm so excited you guys decided to do it, and I'll try and do it more frequently. So we'll probably have another one, like I said. If it may or may not hit quarterly, just because we have the cruise coming up, and I'm designing a project for that. And so if I can't quite get my head wrapped around that, and then we've got, my life is busy. I can't complain. It's a great busy, but so we've got the wedding in February, and then in March is the cruise. So I get to go on the cruise for 2 weeks. So I don't know, are any of you going on the cruise? Like, I would love to know how many of my bag ladies are coming, because I would love to see you guys there. I'm traveling solo, so I need some buddies. And then in April, I get to go to, well, Judy, the Bag Lady Club, you're in it. You happened to sneak into the store as I was doing them, so you got your Bag Lady Club. But then, let's see, Peggy's going, yes. So Doreen's going, oh, this is great. Yeah, all of you have to tell me so that I know. Maybe we can have our own Bag Lady table or something. So, but then in April, we're taking my son, this is our last time with him in the house before he leaves for college. We're taking him to Italy for 2 weeks in April. So that's why I'm kind of like a little nervous about doing anything big here and promising you anything. So maybe May. Chris, oh, look at all of you. So Bag Lady Club is, some of you may have come in a little late. Bag Lady Club is something that I do occasionally. So this is the second time we've done it. I would like to get it a little more scheduled, but I feel like my life never seems to allow for that. But once in a while, what I'll do is I'll do kind of a special promotion. It'll include pattern and kits and all kinds of bonus items. And all right, so Jan's coming. She's solo. Nice. We're all gonna hang out. I love this. So anyway, it's just kind of a special kit that I'll put together, and it'll come with all kinds of bonuses, and it's usually at like a promotional price. And so like for all of this, I can't remember the full price. I think we charged $75, but it was worth like $125 or $130. So anyway, it's just kind of a fun thing once in a while that I do. So you just have to watch and know when it comes up. And then I also allow if you want it to be a surprise. So many of you purchased it as a surprise. And then Gloria, of course, I came in with her, and she can't keep a secret. And so, God love her. So she wanted to tell what was in there, and I was okay. I mean, at that point, I was like, it's fine. So we came in and went through it with, and a few more people joined, quite a few more. So anyway, so that's Bag Lady Club. So again, I appreciate all of you doing it. It's super fun. And hopefully you find the value in it. And so the stiletto is, let's see, let me pull it back up. It's a Clover product, and it is called, here, I'll just set it down. In fact, we can put it in can we add that product? Thank you. It's called a Hold It Precision Stiletto. And so it is heat resistant. And then actually, if we can put the air erasable marker in there too, I forgot about that. I want to make sure anyone who didn't get to do this has the opportunity. And what was the other tool? Oh, here it is, the basting tape. There we go. So that gets us everything. Oh, good. I'm glad everyone seems pretty happy. So I'm glad to hear that, other than we got one missing pattern. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Consider, so you guys know, I think I told Kate, but I don't think I mentioned it to you guys. Because Gloria and I had told everyone about the Bag Lady Club, quite a few more purchased it. So I had everything done before we did that show, and I was like, okay, all the kits are done. They're ready to go. Well, then I think 40 plus more of you decided to join, which is wonderful. But it was right before my mother-in-law showed up on the 21st. And so she and I, the day after Christmas, put together kits. And so we're on our dining room table, like going around and putting everything in and creating it. So it was nice to have a helper. So, all right. So I think these products are now in there. And so if you are interested in adding any of those items, you can. And so, all right. So I think that's it. Okay. So we are going to, I'm going to put all of these things in here because I don't want whoever's this is, although whoever's this is, I'm going to steal a mint from you. I'm sorry. I noticed you got extra, so I'm taking one. I'm going to put all this back in here though and repackage it when we're done so that, let's see, I think these are for these ones. I'm going to set that there. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing just because this green color is a little different. And so if you're wanting a color that matches, I wouldn't pick a thread just beforehand. I was going to get the navy, but then I grabbed one thinking this was it and it wasn't quite right. And I was like, you know what? Most of us have different shades of blue and navy. The green was a little different. So this one is ES 983. I think it's called Green Onion, but ES 983. So if you have that already, it'll be perfect. There were some other greens that were similar, just not quite right. So you can see when I put them on there, they're not quite it, but they're close for what we're doing. So if you want the exact one, that one I thought was perfect. So before I forget, I'll put that back over here. Alrighty, so we're gonna get started. I am gonna steal the Soft and Stable from this one. And I have my pattern. I've started putting my name on them because I have a tendency to buy these and not get that. Yes, mother-in-laws do like to be useful. And she's fantastic. I won't say her age because she may not be happy with me, but she is kind of hitting a point where she's a little more limited on what she's able to help with. So it was nice to have something she could do. So on vacation, we went, a couple things we did was she wanted to do shopping, so we went for a little bit, but then we also did afternoon tea. So it was really fun. The place had all these little kids were there for this one, and they had different fun hats you could put on and all kinds of things. So it was really nice to have a nice activity for her. All right, get that out of our way. All right, so again, we're doing the ByAnnie side hustle. I'm going to put my phone up here because I have two sick kids. I have one little stomach bug and I have one at school who he fell on the ice this morning getting to his car and his knee has swollen. So I just want to make sure if they text anything crazy that I at least know what's going on. And so we're good. I'll put that back. I apologize for checking phones during this. It's not what I would normally like to do. All right. So again, side hustle, it does have, I'm going to set this down, it does have the coupon on here, and it has a coupon code inside, and you can use that for the additional videos. ByAnnie, the company, does an amazing job with these videos. So if we get to a point where I maybe don't say it the way I teach or instruct it, doesn't make sense to you, please look at this, because I know we all learn different ways, and I know even when I'm trying to do things, I may look at a couple different places. Oh, high tea at the Frick Cafe sounds amazing. I will definitely do that. Sorry, again, squirrel, shiny things. Did you notice I wore a shiny shirt? I wanted to say Happy New Year to all of you and I forgot. So, but I have my little sparkles on. All right. So anyway, the ByAnnie, this is the video for that. It's a great resource for the free patterns. She also has videos for those. And a lot of times it teaches you the basics, because I know her patterns sometimes can be a bit intimidating because she does bind everything. So she binds the inside, uses binding for the inside. I know for me, with the first couple ByAnnie bags I made, I was kind of like, oh boy, I'm not that good at this. So, but you improve with practice, and by watching her videos, she had some tips on how to do that a little better. So, all right. So I believe our first steps, well, I should probably tell you sizes. So you have to decide to begin with which color you want for your lining, which for your exterior, and what size you want to make. So the smaller one is 7 to 12 inches high. So by 2 inches. So it's 2 inches deep. Let's see. This is kind of weird, 7 to 12. So maybe it's 7 here and 12 here. That's my guess. Because it doesn't do, let's see. Wow, this is kind of confusing on here. I'm not going to lie. Standard, and then standard is 7 to 12 high. Okay, so I think it's 7 to 12, yeah. This one's turned the right way, so it makes more sense. And then it's 2 inches to 8.5 inches wide. Okay, so 8.5 here, which to me is height, but that's not the way she worded it. So 8 inches this direction, 2 inches here. And then on here it's 12 inches and 7. Now this is the same on this one. It's going to be 7 inches down here and 12 inches here, but the depth is going to be different. So it's going to be 7.25 and 2. Yeah, so this is 2 and this is 7.25. So you're going to be, it's about an inch difference is all. So it's not a huge difference, but it's going to be 1.25 inches shorter. So it'll kind of cut off right about here instead. So that's what we're picking from. Oh, you did have both patterns. Oh, good, Sherry. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. Oh, and Judith is suggesting starting with one of her smaller projects. If you wanted to start with the project, one of the free patterns, you've got several of those in this Bag Lady kit, which is wonderful. So you could certainly do that. There's not a ton extra of these fabrics, and I'm not sure where those pieces will be. So I'm not sure if you want to maybe try a different fabric first and then jump in. But we also have taught those classes before. I did duffel bags and the Easy Does It. That was one of the first projects I did. So I think the videos are still up. I'm not sure how long they stay on, but it could be over a year ago that we did those. So that was part of doing ByAnnie Bag Lady Club. This time I thought, hey, it's been a while, let's refresh. So, all right. So that is what you need there. So those are the 2 different sizes. So I'm going to get started because I'm very excited about this. I've been wanting to make one of these for a while. And I actually might make one. My older son, I think, would use this. My younger one, probably not, but unless it said Gucci on it, because that's my Gucci boy. So, all right. She does suggest reading through the entire instructions first. Guess who did not do her homework and read it first? I should have taken it on vacation on the airplane. So let's see. I think what we're going to do is we're going to quilt first, but she's saying to cut. I knew she had done this. So I'm going to look at that real quick and see what, here, I'll put that there so that you have something pretty in front of you. All right. So we're going to do, it says for main body, we're going to do 15 by 9. Let's see, 3 times. So we're going to do the body front, the body back, and the pockets. And then or 15 by 9 is the small and 15 by 11 is the large. And so that's everything that we quilt. So we're not doing a lot of quilting in this one. For doing the quilting, lots of fun choices for that. So you can, oh, let me grab this. We had done a demo on this before. I'm not using it today, but I did want to show you the twin needles are really fun for this kind of thing. So we're going to use our marker that we got in our kit. So we've got our air soluble marker, I guess is what this is called, whatever they're called. So we're going to use that. But if you wanted to mark and then you wanted 2 lines right next to each other, you can use a twin needle and then your lines are going to be perfect. So we do have a few of these in stock if you're interested in doing that. And then you'll be able to just stitch. Now you can do free motion quilting. You can do, you've seen me before, like I love just doing crazy lines and going all over the place. This is a smaller bag. So you've got a couple choices here. In my opinion, you can do maybe a smaller design. You can do, you could do edge to edge. I'm like, I can't think. So you could do edge to edge. So if you have that ability on your machine, so if you have, well, if you're lucky enough to have the Radiance, it apparently has some serious edge to edge skills. In fact, I had asked Gloria if she could come in and show us today, but she's showing someone individually the Radiance, so she was unavailable. You can do edge to edge on various other machines too. So if you have an embroidery machine, you may be able to do that on there. You can draw lines and just go ahead and do with that. So I would suggest something, a smaller design, because it's small if you want to do that. Or if my misunderstood answer to Judy Bellin, if you wanted to do something a little more modern looking and subtle, you could also just cut out your pieces and stitch around the outside of them to base them in place, and not even and not quilt at all, because they are such small pieces. When you look at this, this is 2 inches here by, this is probably 4. So you've got 2 by 4 and half of it's missing. This is probably like 3 inches by 7. So they're relatively small pieces. The back is going to be a full piece, but again, it's still so small that I think the quilting is optional on this bag. And so, Jean, that's a good idea. The Easy Does It bag is tricky. It's not easy, but it definitely tests your skills. And if you can make that, you can do any of these. I'm not sure what yoiks means, Judy. So that's a new word for me. I thought I learned a lot of new words from my teenage sons, but you got me on that one. All right, so we are going to go ahead. I'm going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of quilting on this. So I think I am going to, oh, I can't decide. Do I want to do the green? Well, I guess it doesn't matter at this point. I was going to say I haven't decided what I want on the inside and the outside. This is such a fun fabric. All right, so we're going to make a little quilt sandwich. I'm going to turn on my iron. I do recommend pressing your fabric first, because when you quilt it, Tina's not quilting. Yeah, I don't blame you, Tina. This is one of those where it's definitely a good option is not quilting. And so I'm going to move these out of our way. I do recommend, again, I was going to say ironing it first if you're going to quilt, because that way you've got a nice surface to do that. So again, we're doing 15 by 11 and we're doing it 3 times. So to do the big one, and I'm going to go ahead and do it for the big size so that we have plenty of fabric for that. So I've got to remind myself how wide this is so I can do a little math. So you should have about 27 inches. You may have a little more, but I think we cut pretty close to that 27. So that, to do 15 by 11, doesn't work really well for me. So, so if I go to do 3, all right, if I go this way and I do 11, right, so we've got 42. So we'll do, see, I wish I had 30 inches because it's making me crazy. I hate wasting fabric. I don't want to waste any. All right, so we're going to go 15 across. And I'm going to just cut that, because then we'll do 11. We'll have enough to do 11 multiple times. So we're going to do 33 inches that way. So I'm going to go to 33.5 is what? 16.5. So we're going to do this at 16.5. I go here, 16.5 hits right there. Oh, but we need the selvage, so let's go up to 17 just to make sure. So what I'm doing is I'm just setting my ruler on here, and I'm taking the edge and I'm going to go up to the 17, because that takes care of my selvage as well. And I'm just going to, I'm going to put it at that 17, mark it down here. Perfect. So I'm right at that 17. because I don't want to waste my fabric, and I'm not sure, since I haven't read my pattern thoroughly. So if you are in a better position than me and you actually read your pattern like you were supposed to in theory, then you are in better shape than I am. All right, so again, we've got this is big enough to do 3 cuts of 11. So we're going to go across 15. So here's my 15. And it doesn't have to be exact because remember, we're quilting this and we're going to then cut it down to the right size. So if you're a little off, it's no big deal. I try and go a little bit bigger in general just because I know I tend to be a little crazy when I'm sewing, and especially if I'm in here with you guys, I'm talking so much. Let's see. On the go-to. Janice, we are not doing that bag. I chose to do the side hustle for our demo and then include the 2 big totes. On the go-to is one of the, for everybody else, is one of the patterns that Annie updated for this year. And so I had debated on that one, but then I thought, well, if somebody has it and doesn't want to make the same pattern again, I don't want to have that be your main project. And so I try and be sensitive to that someone may have the pattern already. And so, sorry, I went a little too quick on this and my cut wasn't good. All right, so we're down here. And again, we're doing 15-ish. A little over. All right. So I might do the Peacekeeper with you guys. We'll see how long it takes us to get through this bag. But that might be an option. Peacekeeper is another one that's pretty easy. And so, I mean, you still have to do the binding around the outside if you're doing it the way she wants you to. So that might be a good practice one. All right, so that's our extra fabric. Got that one cut, so we're doing well. One of them cut. So today the plan is we're gonna get ourselves cut. And so for next week, I'm already telling you what to do for next week. Anyway, so for today, we're gonna get our fabric cut, pressed. We're gonna line it. We're gonna do the marks for the quilting. And because I am gonna quilt it just because I figure if I'm showing this to you guys, it probably should be quilted. And then, let's see. Sorry, I forgot my number for a second. I'm going up to the 17. I had to actually think, so I had to stop talking. All right, so so today, like I said, we're gonna get started on our quilting. I just wanna get you started showing you what to do. And then, so for next week, we'll have that part all done, our quilting done, and we'll have things cut out and we'll get started sewing. So I'm very excited about this. I think this is gonna go relatively quick. And so I do wanna make sure everyone that orders today gets their kits by next week. Like I said, the patterns did come in today. We saw Sarah come in. And so, and everyone else who had ordered before should get those sent out in the shipping, should be able to send those out today. And so, let's see, am I in the right spot? Yep, we're doing good. All right. Oh, I can hear the heat coming on. Poor Kate is always cold. And I came in here, I'm like, even I am cold. Well, both the heaters were blocked in this room, the vents, so we're good now. I can hear it popping back on. Go. Okay, so we've got our 2 nice big pieces. So that's going to be our front and back in our pockets. And so that's my extra. I'm going to just put that right over here on my mountain of stuff that I bring in with me. And then we're going to do a quick press. Let's see if I can slide this over so you guys can see my, here we go. Well, you're seeing my iced tea, because, you know, you gotta have my iced tea. Let's see, Judith, I found several of the ByAnnie can be modified to your needs. Yeah, that's the really nice things. I feel like the ByAnnie bags really teach you some great skills. And once you've done it, like, and this, when I went to the bag lecture that I went to, she was doing ByAnnie bags. And one of the big things she said was the first time you make it, just follow the instructions. It's sort of like a recipe, I feel like follow the recipe the first time. And it's the same with this. Follow it the first time and then make your changes, make your adjustments. And so Oh, someone asked about 20. Yeah, the fabric kit does not. And part of why I don't include patterns is because if you've already bought the pattern, or if you're like, you know what, I love that bag so much, I want to make one for my daughter and my daughter-in-law and my whatever, or everybody's, for all the people on the cruise. So I don't want you to have to buy the pattern over and over again. And that's why I also did the hardware separate, because I thought, well, if you're not a fan of what I picked for fabrics, then you can do something on your own. And because the hardware is a little bit different, I thought it would be nice just to give you that option. So, all right. All right, so I feel like I'm being so good. I'm so bad about ironing, and I'm actually doing it today. Yay. All right. Oh, Janice, no problem. Glad to be here. So, really glad. I miss doing the show. I like hanging out with all of you. So, it's funny because I know we're just, you know, on screen and like, but I feel like you guys are like my friends. So, so for those of you I get to meet live, I know I've met quite a few of you during the event in November, and that was really great. And we get to meet more of you, it sounds like, on the cruise. So I love the live events. Bonnie, this bag is the side hustle. I apologize. I have my phone out. If you're just joining, my kids are both, well, one is injured and one is sick. So I kind of tried to have my phone out just in case they need something. I think they'll be okay. Thanks, Jacqueline. I do think these fabrics are really nice. So I think whatever one you pick, you can't go wrong. And so, alrighty. This will be nice because this will also give you an idea of what you have extra. You saw there was a ton of extra fabric when I cut this out. And I know we'll be doing like some straps from it and things. But if you wanted to do a sample project that coordinated with it beforehand, it'll show you what you have extra. So those things are pressed. I'm gonna move, actually I'm gonna just slide this onto the floor because I move things around. All right, so we are going to, I'm gonna mark this. And I was thinking I would just do something simple. And so if you wanted to do something crazy, it's nothing wrong with that. You can, like I said, you can do the edge to edge. You could do free motion. Free motion is probably my favorite way of quilting things. It's very forgiving, and it's just sort of fun to sort of fiddle around. Now, if you wanted to do, if you wanted to do some sort of free motion, you could do, you know, like you could do, this one's not really conducive to it, but circles came to mind. You could do like circles all around, which is really fun to do. I haven't done free motion on my Solaris, so I don't know how to set up the machine for it, but I could certainly look into it and next week show you guys that if you're interested at all. I use, if you have the Accomplish, it is fantastic for free motion quilting. Highly recommend it. So let's see, can we just cut a long strip 11 by 42 and quilt? Yes, you definitely can. That's essentially what I did. So I did it, what I did was 15 by enough to do my 33s. So I'm at 15 by 34. And so, yeah, if you want to do 11 by 42, well, you know what? Don't do 11 by 42, Gloria, because it needs to be 11 by 15. And so let me double check. Yeah, so the pieces, when you cut them, they want 11 by 15. Now, a lot of times she has you cut a little big because it does shrink a little when you're quilting. So if I go, so here, so when you go to cut your body front, you're going to cut for the large one 13 by 9.5. So what does that give you? 13, that's 39. So if you're very careful, you might be able to get away with an 11 by 42. That's not what she recommends, but again, if you're careful with it, if, for example, I can't remember who it was, and I apologize. If you're not quilting it at all, you could definitely get away with that because you're not going to have any shrinkage. And so 11 by 42 would work. You just need to be a bit more careful in how you do things. And yes, Tina, most definitely God and family first. And so, all right. So we're going to mark this. I was just going to, because I want it a little bit smaller, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to mark every inch. And so I'm going to use my air marker. And I'm going to go here. Now I'm not going to do all of this today. I'm going to take this home and do it, but we'll at least get started. What could be really fun, since I'm just going something simple and going every inch, you could use that twin needle, which would be really fun. If you want to do it free motion and you don't want to do straight lines, actually you could even do the twin needle and not do straight lines, but you could just sort of curve over those lines, which could be really fun. I'm a big fan of not stressing about things being perfect. Huge fan of that. I'm not perfect, and I don't want, sewing for me is fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be creative. It's sometimes just a way of keeping my sanity. And so sometimes for me, straight lines are a bit much. Even now as I'm like, oh, every inch I'm going to do. Well, I'm probably going to do a swervy line, because if I do a swerve and I'm off a little bit, you will never ever know that I did it. So, but that's up to you. If you're really good at making straight lines, I highly recommend it. And so, all personal preference. I have a quilt that I did that's free motion quilted, and it's kind of crazy and fun. All right, so we're going to flip this around. I'm going to start at the same end. So I have done this before where I'm like, oh, I'm going to mark every inch, and then I realize I started at one end marking my inches on one side and the other side. So just make sure you start. For me, I'm starting at my cut end and doing my inch. So we're just going to mark these real quick. My lines are staying on. Again, I've never used these air markers before, so I'm kind of excited about it, because there are times, excuse me, I apologize. There are times we are marking things for bags that are not, they're not conducive to using an iron-on, all right? So if we use our faux leather, if we're using vinyls, is a lot of those products, when you go to use heat on it, are really not happy. So I tend to use steam, which works fine, and works great, in fact. But sometimes I worry, even with doing that, that I'm going to do something that damages the material. And you hate to go through all this work to do this and then end up ruining it because you're use heat on it at the end to remove your marks. So chalk, that's why a lot of times I use chalk, although I don't like, sometimes getting the chalk out can be a challenge. So nice to have a variety of tools so that you can pick what works best for each project. So, all right, almost done with these ones. In fact, I may just go through and mark these. So I'm just marking on my green fabric. Reason I chose the green, I can see my lines better than if I do it on the darker fabric. So there we go. Let's see how that turned out. All right, fingers crossed that one. Oh, look at that. I love it. It turned out very nice. I was concerned my lines wouldn't show up. I thought, this is great. I gave all of you these pins because I was so excited. And then, let's see, mark center to each side. I'm not sure what you're telling me, Marilyn. I'm sorry. Or mark 1 inch to each side of each one. That's not a bad idea. So I think I'm going to just stick with this for now, though. Probably could do 2 at a time, though, if they line up. Oh, this is one of those rulers with the 1/2 inch. I was thinking I could just do like because most of them, well, at home at least, I have 6. All right, I'm not gonna go all the way down because this is gonna make us all crazy if I stand here and mark every inch, especially when we're have like 30 something lines to mark. So, but I'll do a handful of them and then we'll stitch a couple and then I'll finish them off, like I said, at home. So.
Someone asked, does the air marker disappear within a certain time frame?
Yes, it does. Now, again, I'm pretty new to this marker. Like today's my first day using it. I know I should prepare better, but from what I read, they last about 24 hours. And so it's definitely something, like for me right now, I'm like, okay, if I go through and I mark all of this and I get home, my son's still sick, and I'm doing more cleanup at home than sewing, I probably am going to have to remark it. So for me, this may not be the best option today. If you know, hey, I've got time, I'm going to mark it, I'm going to sew it, and I'm going to stitch it, and that's kind of my steps for today, then you know, okay, I'm going to mark this with the air one. I do really like the concept, as I said, of if this disappears on its own, I don't have to do anything else. Let's say this might be a better candidate, like if I knew I was putting my handles on. And so I'm putting my handles on, and this bag doesn't have handles like that. But if I'm putting handles on that are like a vinyl on a bag, well, it's really nice to be able to mark it, and you're putting those handles on, and then it's going to just go away on its own, and you don't have to worry about it. And so, all right. I'm not sure. My mother used to say, you'll never notice it on a trotting horse. Perfect. So we're just going to start using all our bags on trotting horses. But I see what you mean, Julie, or Judy. Most people aren't going to like get in there and look really close and, analyze. And you know what? If they do and they make some sort of snide comment about it, they're not good friends. Is what I think. Like, we're here to do this. We enjoy it. It's fun. I know some of you may like make projects and sell them too, but overall, this is like our happy place, being able to do these things. And so, all right, like I said, I'm going to mark the end real quick, and we'll do a few of these just to sort of. All right, one. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark it down here. So mark both sides. All right. I know this isn't the most exciting show right now as I'm marking this, but it does give you an idea of, even if this isn't that exciting, the steps that you do. And this is probably one of the more time-consuming things that we do, is marking this and doing the quilting. So again, if you're skipping that step, you're going to be much quicker. But if you're not, it's just a good way to just kind of see all the steps. All right, so I'm just going to do these real quick. Sorry, it was not showing up for me on that one. All right, so you can see I'm doing, this is a pretty small grid. So again, it's a small bag. So these are pretty small squares that I'm making. And so.
Can you do your quilting wider than 1 inch?
You can do your quilting however you want. So yeah, Debbie, if you want, you can. Susan, the hardware, so the hardware for my brain is gone. Oh, I hate when that happens. Where did I put our whole kit? It's in here. So the hardware, the triangles, there we go. All right, so we've got two different things going on here, and that's part of why I wanted to do a hardware kit. So the hardware for the straps on the side. So when you see here, the strap up here, and then where it connects down here, she used a 1.5, I think, to give it a little more stability, but also because the bag is 2 inches wide there. So I think if you did a 1 inch, it's going to look a little flimsy. So she had done the 1.5 inch hardware right there and down here, because she made it the same. Now, what's different though, is then your strap, 1.5 is a pretty wide strap, which is fine. You could certainly change it to that, but the hardware for it that she called for was 1 inch. So that's a 1 inch hardware for the strap, but then where it connects is 1.5. And so you could certainly change that if you wanted to. And so, but the kit includes what she called for in her pattern. And so including the strapping. And so, and yes, Debbie, you could definitely do bigger than 1 inch. In fact, as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, man, that's small. What was I thinking? So, I mean, I think 1 is fine, but you could definitely do something bigger. You could do something more just crazy all over, and then you're not worried about where it hits. That is generally the way I go, is all over. And so, yeah. All right, so we're going to finish up this real quick. I might just do a couple. I'm going to do one more, and then I think we're going to go over and just stitch it up a little bit. Well, we're going to cut our bosal, or not bosal, soft and stable. I'm so used to saying bosal. All right, so this is my personal one, so I'm going to stick it in with my personal pattern that we are using so I don't forget. All right, put these back in here. All right, so whoever's kit this is, I am stealing your soft and stable as well because I forgot to bring some more in, but I have lots more, so you're okay. All right. So Mary likes to use chalk versus air marker. I have to admit, I have always been a chalk girl, and loved it. Because I went to this lecture, I thought, well, I'm going to try the air marker. So you guys are all guinea pigs with me. We're all giving it a whirl this time, and we'll see what we think. We may try it and be like, you know what? It's fine for when I'm doing, like putting a handle on or something, and I really only need it for a few minutes. But for general, I prefer chalk. Chalk for me, like for doing quilting, I don't love because it brushes off fairly quickly and easily, which I like for a lot of other purposes. But if I'm going to mark up 1 inch lines everywhere, I want those lines to stay on there until I have quilted. I don't want to have to do them over and over again. So again, it kind of just depends on what you're going to do with it. All right, so we're going to go ahead. This is going to give us an idea of how much extra we have for those peacekeepers or any other ByAnnie projects you want to do, because you're getting quite a few patterns. So I'm just going to set this on here. Now this is 18 inches. I cut mine at 15. So perfectly fine. We're going to give it just a little extra. So we've got all of this extra. So this is perfect for that peacekeeper because I don't think it requires a whole lot. Here, I can tell you, in fact. It says 13 by 18. So you've got, let's see, about 24, you've got 24 by 18 on here. So you've got plenty. You could almost get 2 of them if you were careful in how you did it. So, all right. Which would be kind of nice. You could have matching ones for 2 different projects going. Not that any of us ever have more than 1 project going at a time, right? So, all right, throw that away. There we go. And, which reminds me, I was going to make a quilt for my nephew and his fiance for this wedding that we're going to February 8th. I might be in trouble considering I haven't even started it yet. I do have the fabric, so we'll see. We'll see. You know what? Maybe I will cut off that extra over there. I'm going to leave it a little bit big, but not too much. Just to make it a little easier for moving around. All right. Now, one of the things I do like to do when I'm going to quilt something, and even though this one's a little bit smaller, which is nice, it's a little easier to work with than a lot of times when we're doing things, is I like to baste around the outside. And when I do it, I'll go across the top, I'll call it, and then I go down on either side. So I'll start up here and I'll go down and I'll go down. For me, it helps keep the fabric from moving. ByAnnie Soft and Stable it grips the fabric fairly well, but it's not perfect. There can be some shifting. You can certainly pin it in a couple places to help with that, but that's kind of the way I like to do it. So we're gonna just fact, you know what? Oh good, this is still on. I'm gonna give it a quick press. And my fabric was already pressed, but because of the packaging, the Soft and Stable is a little bit, this is non-fusible, but it's got some creases in the Soft and Stable. So I'm just gonna give it that real quick. That also helps, I don't know, I feel like it just sort of makes it hold on nicer. And here we go. Now I'm not going to press the side that has my, my lines on it because I feel like that would probably make them disappear. In fact, I want to make sure this isn't warm to the touch. Looking good. My lines are still on there. So far, so good. All right. And I do have in here, I think, I thought I did. Nope. I took them out, put them over here. I'm going to put a couple pins in there just to sort of hold it in place. The other side I started down a little bit lower, so we're going to just pull that down just a smidge. My husband's been making fun of me. I say smidge a lot apparently. I had no idea. He's like, what is a smidge? I'm like, you know, a little bit. So, all right. All right, so we're going to move over to the sewing machine. And like I said, I think I'm going to do kind of curvy lines. Again, you could use that twin needle if you wanted. That gives you sort of a double line. You could certainly do straight on there. I feel like I should do straight lines. What do you think, Kate? Should I do straight or curvy? I usually do curvy. Maybe I should.
Curvy's fun.
She says curvy's fun. I feel like I do curvy all the time because I'm just sort of a crazy girl. But nobody's responding right now, so I don't think they care what I do. Let's see, hardware. Oh, okay, we've already answered this question, so we're good. All right, ladies, I'm going to move over, and I don't know. I feel like I should go straight. I'm going to go straight because I never do. I also kind of want to do the twin needle, but I'm not set up for it. So we're just going to go straight, and oh boy. Oh, we just went to sleep over here. I've never had mine go to sleep. I didn't realize that the machine could do that. All right. You know, guys, it would have been helpful if I would have put thread on the machine. All right. I don't want to use that one because I know we're kind of light on that. And if anybody ordered the thread that goes with it. So I'm going to pick the next closest. Well, maybe I won't open anyone. Here we go. We're going to go with this green. Put that back over there. All right, we're going to thread this. I apologize. I forgot to thread it before we started. I don't know what time it is, but I want to make sure we're not.
It is 1:13.
All right, so I'm just going to get this started, and then so we'll just spend a little bit of time on that. And this will be kind of your homework for the week, is to get your quilting done, and then we'll work on cutting the pieces when we get back together. And so if anybody wants to work ahead, they can, of course. Oh, let's see, this is my top. So for me, again, I didn't mark the whole thing, so I'm using the top as the side with my stitching. I'm going to go ahead and just, like I said, I really like to baste on here. So I'm using stitch number 3, and I'm going to a stitch length of 3.5. Actually, I'm going to go to 4 because I'm really feeling wild today. Just as you're going through, make sure, like I don't have the table on here, so I just want to make sure my fabric in the back is also staying on here. We also need to plug in our foot. See, most people do embroidery for classes, and so I come in and I've got to reset everything. All right, here we go. All right. So again, we're just. So again, I'm just basting this down. I've pinned it kind of roughly in place. But again, I'm just sort of with my hands making sure I'm sort of evening out that fabric to make sure it's not moving on me underneath or folding, which has definitely happened to me before. I'm going in about 1/4 of an inch, because remember, we are going to be cutting back from this. So if you want to go even bigger, you could. If you wanted to go up to 1/2 an inch, I think it would be fine. You might have your stitch show, but it'll just sort of blend in with everything. All right, here's one of my pins, so I know we're in good shape. I went a little too far. Back up. All right. All right. You know what? I don't like going across that side, so we're going to just go over here. I think we're quite big enough to go that way, so I'm going to turn it over. So I'm just flipping it so I can kind of stick to that same side. I'm just evening that out, and then off we go again. So again, I'm starting at what I considered the top and going from the top down. And so I just feel like if there's going to be movement, at least everything's moving the same direction. So. So you can see we are now basted on there. I'm not sure how much they can see. Oh no, you can see beautifully. This is great. I am going to take my pins out because I have a bad habit of, if I don't take them out when I'm thinking of it, I end up running them over and breaking needles. This morning I was making a sample of the cruise project and working on it just a little bit and wasn't paying attention. I hit a needle. I was like, darn it. So. All right, so we're gonna go straight lines because that's what I'm feeling today. So, real simple. Now, I even like to baste when I'm doing this. It does sort of help make it go quicker. If you want it to make more of a design for you. So, for example, if you want to really be able to see it pressed in, go smaller. So, for example, I'll do. Well, you can see that's where I basted, and oh, well, let me just do it. I'm talking, and so I'm going to go to a 2.5. And the reason I'm going to do that is I feel like it's going to show my stitching better. So I'm going to do 2 rows that way, and then I'm going to do 2 rows at a 4 again, just to show you the difference in what I mean. So the 2.5 is going to really give me like those shorter stitches, so it really pushes down on that soft and stable. I'm like, I know I can come up with this word if I keep trying. So I'm just going along that line. Now, when I'm stitching, a lot of times I like to go back and forth so it doesn't move everything the whole way. But because we're doing the show live with you, I'm just going to keep going the same direction. But otherwise, I would probably kind of alternate and go back and forth a little bit to help keep it from moving. Now I am using a digital dual feed, and so that is definitely going to help me with my fabric, making sure that it moves along nicely and isn't shifting. And so, all right. I want to show you. You can see how this really presses down in there, which is really, I really like that look. Kind of makes it, I don't know, more of a thick quilted look. But this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change, and I'm going to go back up to that 4 we did before. And I'll show you the difference. So you can definitely pick whichever look you like better. If you do have any trouble with the shifting, just You can also lower your speed. I'm not going very quickly. It's set at the fastest because someone else before me was using that, and it's easy enough to change. You just move that over. But all right, let me do one more so you can see what that 4 looks like together, and then I'm going to finish my quilting at home. All right. So I'm going to move over to the table so you can kind of see this. All right. So you can see on here, can we get close up on that? Thank you. All right, so there we are. We're down at this end. So you can see on here, I'm going to just even slide it a little further so it's, I think, a little better. On here, this is where I stitched in really tight, so it kind of puffs more. Here, it's got a little bit looser to it. And I know it's not obvious, but if you really like that poof look, once I go across, it's going to make an even bigger difference. And so, but again, it's the same. The bobbin does not have the same green in it. It just has white, basic white. So I do prefer switching my bobbin color to go along with it, but thank you, pronounced. That's what I was trying to come up with, Judith. Sometimes when I'm trying to do something and think at the same time, everything doesn't go together. Yeah, Cecilia, decorative stitches would be really fun on there too. That might take you a little bit of time, but really fun. I know even just doing a serpentine, that's nice to do on there. But so this is your homework now. So those of you participating in it, you're going to get your quilting done this week. Watch any videos you want if you want to kind of plan ahead. I'm going to try and watch those videos myself. Next week, we're going to do the cutting. I believe she has us making, which we've done in the past, so we'll just kind of touch on it, but making the bias binding. So I'll probably make mine ahead of time, and we're not going to be using it right away, so that's not a rush for next week, but we will touch bases on how to do it. Oh, sashiko, yes. Libby, that would be amazing. I don't have the luxury of that machine at home, but maybe I can get Steve to set the one up here and I'll play with it. So like I said, so for next week, that's our goal, is to make sure you get your kit, but then also you're going to prep your fabrics. If you're going to quilt, great. If not, get your pieces ready. So you'll cut your smaller pieces and get those ready to go. So, and hello, Carolyn. All right, everyone. I think, did we cover everything as far as items that were available? Did I miss anything? I count on Kate to keep me in line. I think we got everything. The only other thing was, I think, if you needed new needles. I like the jeans denim needles. I know some people like a Microtech or a Stretch for working with it, but I did grab the jeans ones because those are my preferred needle. And so if you need those, we've got those. And so, right, Libby, I do. I need a sashiko at home. I might need a bigger house. So, all right, everyone. Again, it was so nice seeing all of you again. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Happy New Year to you all. All right. Bye-bye.